This podcast was originally live-streamed on the NonSequitur show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/NonSequitur show. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsecshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter at NonSecShow or Facebook.com/NonSecShow. That's NonSeq show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of NonSequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/NonSequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non-Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
What's up, everybody? Arael here with Fully Deconverted, and today we have a slightly different show for you, so let's see if it all works out.
It's very commonly said that the root of most human unhappiness is the sense that one's life has no meaning. An individual feels that his life amounts to something when he belongs and fits in with the execution of some group enterprise. He feels he belongs in a plan. Now this too seems to give people a sense of great satisfaction.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
If I can ask the universe, then I want to tell our story. I want to tell our most cherished stories. Not just the story of humans, but of the whole universe.
Hey guys, my name is Tyler Johnson, and my friend Arael is creating a community where different perceptions can be heard. He's bridging gaps between faith, fact, reason, different thinking, hearing each other's ideas. It's healthy. We need community where we're coming together, we're building unity and not disunity. And so it's a good place to be heard. It's a safe environment. So check it out. The community he's creating is called Fully Deconverted. It's a Facebook group. You definitely want to join, get in on the discussions. The link is down here, so check out that jank and get in there. Hope to see you out there. Thanks.
What's up, everybody? Arael. I hope you enjoyed that little intro, something a little bit different than what we usually do. Today on the show, we have Steve McRae from NonSequitur show. And I'm very excited to have him on. I was on their show, and now I'm enjoyed to have him over onto home turf and see what he has to say about all kinds of things. Let's see. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Steve, what's going on, my friend?
Well, hello. Wow, that was an amazing intro. I don't know how I could even come close to following something like that. That was just wow. My mind's blown. That was great. Very well done. Extremely good production value, and makes you think. You're like, wow. I think I understand the universe now.
Yeah. Thanks. So, Steve, 1 year ago, we had that eclipse come over the U.S. Do you remember that?
I do. Very much so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on that day, I was filming that intro video when I started going independent from my Christian productions to, these series of documentaries where I went on my journey and ended up in Deconversion. So that's what it was. I was filming on the day of the eclipse. That was my way of announcing to the world we're going to do something else. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was on you guys' show. So I really appreciated that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your show.
Well, first, when you watched the eclipse, you didn't have an awe and sense of wonder of this grand plan, or did you just go, this is really cool that scientifically we can explain this?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now, or was thinking at that point. I'm like, yeah, man, I didn't think it was God doing the eclipse, but I just thought, man, if there's a time to start, let's do it on the day the eclipse is happening.
Awesome. It's a good transition, right? Well, anyways, I'm Steve McRae. I'm one of the co-hosts to the NonSequitur show. I've been the owner of the Great Debate Community for a long time, which is a G+ community that is going away, I guess. G+ has decided to be no more, so we're finding another home, but it's not that critical any longer. We've kind of all gone different ways and things of that nature, but we definitely have an online presence with the YouTube community as far as the skeptics, the atheist, and even a very good rapport with many of the theists. And what we try to do is very similar to what you're doing on Fully Deconverted, building bridges and having communication between these people with different beliefs on a higher type of level rather than the base level we've seen so many times and time again, where people just bring up very Pratt arguments that nobody really wants to talk about any longer, because we're not at that level any longer, right? We want to have a higher caliber of discussions with higher caliber people, and I think that's how you really build bridges, rather than getting away from the troll type communities that we've seen so often pop up on Facebook and G+. So I'm thrilled that you have a Facebook group of this that I was invited to, and it's very, very good. The mods, amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. So what is the difference again then between the troll conversations and the conversations of a higher caliber, and why is that important? And I ask that question because if the troll conversations are in abundance, is there work to be done there? All right, take it away.
Yeah, there is and there isn't. Unfortunately, we all have a certain amount of time that we can allocate to things, right? And when you have a theist come on and they say something along the lines of, hey, atheist, go prove God doesn't exist. That's on the caliber of an atheist saying, hey, theist, prove that God exists. They're not productive conversations. And just recently, as you may know, I had a 7-day timeout from Twitter. I had done a takedown of a gentleman named Andrew Rappaport, and Twitter, for some reason, said I was silencing his right to speech or something along those lines, and gave me a week off. So I had to go somewhere else to do my Twittering, and one of which was a Facebook group that I had found, not yours, by the way, but one that is out there that I've been a member of. And the conversations in there are just very lowbrow. It's just basically people responding by memes rather than actually addressing any legitimate type of argument. And the types of arguments that are in there now, they're things that are just not worth responding to. What is it? Does an atheist believe that happens after you die? Sure, it's worth talking about, but they're not really going to get you very far in a conversation, because these people don't want to have conversations. They want to throw little hand grenades into the group and then see who responds to it, which is a troll-like thing to do, rather than say, you know what, I actually have a very legitimate argument. Why don't you try doing a analysis of this argument and see if you think it's good, see if it's valid, see if it's sound. And I'm finding that a lot of people don't possess a lot of the necessary prerequisites to actually properly analyze a good argument. And so what they do is they have this Pavlovian response, and they say, you know what, you're just a troll, or you know what, oh, that doesn't make any sense, that's just word salad. And they throw out these things as if they're a actual rejoinder of some kind to the conversation or to the argument, rather than actually listen to what the person has to say. and this goes both ways. It goes for atheists and theists or anybody else that's neither of them, that if somebody has a legit argument they want to posit, take it as such. Give them a little bit of principle of charity and give them a proper response. And that's why I think that we just have so much time that we can do. And so when we have somebody that is just, we know are not looking for answers, they don't even want to like talk about the topical things, I don't really spend much time with them, honestly.
Yeah. So what happens when a group goes that way? Do we kind of abandon it like the way of the dinosaur and go start another group? Or, and I don't want to stay on this topic too long with the Facebook groups, but can there?
Well, I don't think we need to start other groups, but there's a lot of different places people can go. I mean, there's a lot of groups out there. If you don't like one because it's just base level, go somewhere else. I mean, there's other things out there. There's other conversations to be had, other groups. There's shows like yours. There's shows like ours. There's other things people could be entertained by and watched rather than, getting down in the muck with that kind of base level argumentation.
All right. So Steve, prior to you coming on the show, you reached out in my group and asked people what they wanted to hear you talk about. I can ask you about belief versus knowledge. I think that's a great place to start because I feel like that was my whole struggle. But out of what everybody said, what was your favorite suggestion?
Well, I got to tell you, there was a huge dichotomy between, I asked that question in your group and I asked it in other groups, and in other groups, there wasn't any really good suggestions, right? Okay. Every suggestion I think I got in your group, every one of them was good, if not excellent. And so that's how you address a proper post. I mean, people are asking for advice, and I was legitimately asking for it. And I think the knowledge and the belief actually is a really good place to start, because I think people have a misconception of what it takes to believe something and what it takes to have knowledge. And they throw around these terms, they almost conflate them in some ways, and they also use them indiscriminately. And they say things, well, I can't believe unless I know for a fact. Well, no, that's not how it works. You can believe something. And this is one of the problems people even have with street epistemology, when people have a belief, like a faith belief, right? I believe God exists, right? They might necessarily have a reason to believe in God. And you need to get to the core reasons about why they think they're justified for that belief, right? But to dismiss it outright by saying theists are never justified to believe in God, I think does a disservice to the conversation, because they're not claiming it as knowledge, right? They're not saying, I know God exists. They're saying, I just hold a belief that God exists. And my only burden of proof is that I need to justify that to myself. It's called an epistemic burden of proof. So when you hear people throw around this terminology like burden of proof or epistemic burden of justification, it doesn't mean I have to prove to you anything. If I believe something to be true, I have no onus to prove it to you, unless in certain circumstances, like if I say I've falsified the theory of evolution, right? At that point, you have an evidential onus, right? Because you are literally saying you're discovering something that's against science, and science is already established. Science has no onus to show you anything. If I tell you evolution is something that we observe, evolutionary theory is a confirmed model, I really have no onus to demonstrate that to you beyond just pointing to a textbook and saying, hey, look, here you go. This is all the things you can read about it. This is confirmed. I don't have to confirm it to you. Does that make sense? It's a very different type of level of burden. So if I just believe something, I just have to myself demonstrate why I think I'm justified.
And is that what we're dealing with out there in the world? Then is that most of the conversations being done? Somebody has a dilemma in their self with what to them is demonstrably true. And I'm guessing this all goes off of our experiences that we use. Is that the conversation primarily happening?
Yeah, but the key is finding out why they think they're justified, because that's your point of attack for anything. For example, like when people use crystals, right? People say crystals have healing, right? We've all heard that before. It's like homeopathy or astrology, any kind of pseudoscience. And you ask them, well, why do you think that these rocks have this power to do things? And they'll give you some reason. They'll give you some kind of justification, which I don't think is good, but they'll give you something. But then you ask them the pertinent questions, like, what entails this particular rock to have this power, right? Why does onyx good for the blood or something, or obsidian good for the blood, or whatever it is? What makes it that way in the universe? And they pause and they go, well, I have no